And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Legends Never Die. I am your host, the Legend Crosby. Got a good show lined up for you. Good news around the leagues. Talk about some of these sports games happening this weekend. Let's get into it, shall we? We'll start off with Major League Baseball. Now, AJ Hinch, the man, the myth, the scandal, is apparently back in the MLB statuses. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. His one-year suspension is over from what happened with the Houston Astros incident back in 2017. He is now going to be taking over as the manager for the Detroit Tigers. That's right, folks. AJ Hinch is back in the league. He hasn't had a stellar record as a manager. I think he's only maybe a few games over 500. Yet we will see how this plays out. He did take the Houston Astros to the World Series, albeit for some misleading facts. Nonetheless, still, welcome back, AJ Hinch. May this episode be a little more successful than your last venture, sir. Moving on, one thing that I thought was very, very interesting this morning was Tampa Bay declined the $15 million option on their righty, Charlie Morton. I thought that was very peculiar. Letting the $15 million option decline after he was third in the Cy Young voting? Very, very weird. You just went to the World Series. Why would you let the righty go? He threw better in the postseason than he did in the regular season. On top of that, they're letting Mike Zunino go, their catcher. He had a 4.5 option that they also declined. Now, Tampa Bay did reach out. Their president of operations did state that he was going to leave the door open for them to come back, I guess, renegotiate at the table. But I do believe that Morton is still worth at least $15 million. I think that he has another season, maybe two. My ghost picks, maybe see him in San Diego with the Padres, possibly even see him maybe move to the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll see what happens. Let's keep a close eye on that one. Next up, Steve Cohen. Now this is a hedge fund investor. He has now purchased the New York Mets. That's right. The New York Mets now have a new team owner. He has purchased them for $2.4 billion as part of his group, but he will be the main man in charge. I believe this man is worth $14 billion. Pretty sure he's the richest man in baseball right now. So good luck to you, Mr. Cohen. May all the success come your way because not a lot is seen it on the Mets side of the world. Congratulations to you. Moving on to basketball. Now, this was a very, very awkward situation that happened today. Mike D'Antoni, former head coach of the Houston Rockets, former head coach of, the New York Knicks, the Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, etc., etc., etc. He is now going to sign on as part of Steve Nash's crew for the Brooklyn Nets. Him and Ime Udoka. This is why I don't like people's last names. Y'all got to start doing better. I'm Thomas. Come on, let's work this out. But Ime Udoka are both going to be signing on, as well as Amari Stoudemire, to be a part of Steve Nash's coaching team. Very, very weird. You know, well, who's to blame for this is Doc Rivers. Because I'm pretty sure that Mike D'Antoni thought he was going to get that spot in Philly until all of a sudden Doc Rivers stepped out and was like, you know what, I've been fired. I need a job too. Who are you going to take? You're going to take the guy with the ring every single time. Because he's had great success everywhere he's gone. The only thing is he's only got that one ring with Boston. I think that he could have possibly had another one on his plate, possibly with the Clippers, especially when the Lakers were down. But now the Lakers are back. Good for you, Doc. Run like the wind. Nonetheless, Mike D'Antoni, this is probably just a pit stop for you. I'm pretty sure before the midseason, somebody will be fired. You'll move into somebody's interim spot in the meantime. So good luck to you guys out there in Brooklyn. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. They look like they had a pretty good team. Adding two new stars, first year together, coming off of major injuries. I don't expect anything from them this next season. I know a lot of people are final talking them already, but I say give them another year. Same thing as the Clippers. Nonetheless, let's move forward. Now this year, I don't talk a lot about college sports because the pandemic has really messed up what the NCAA can do, date starts, AP polls. None of that makes any sense. So I'm really going to keep the college sports out of it this season. Next season, we will get back on it. However, I did want to just give a quick shout out to Clemson and their sudden stature of unhappiness. Trevor Lawrence has tested positive for the COVID. Trevor Lawrence, the soon-to-be #1 pick in the draft, Trevor Lawrence, is going to have to more than likely quarantine for the next 10 days. So they have a game this weekend, I believe, with Boston College, and then the big-time game next week against Notre Dame, who's #4 right now. They're sitting at #1, Clemson. So sad to see him go, but maybe this might just be for the best. Maybe he just needs to go ahead and shut down this season and just start preparing for next year. You're going to be making money for this next year. This might just be that time to go ahead and just do what's right. Nonetheless, I love to see you out there playing football, Trevor. Good luck to you. Please feel better, sir. And we'll carry on really quick with the rest of these COVID tests. Now, as I was telling you yesterday, the Chargers and the Texans both had situations with COVID test positive. The Texans have closed their facility due to the fact that they have a bye week this weekend. The Chargers do remain open. Now, here's the funny thing. The Chargers are going to be playing the Denver Broncos this weekend. Denver has also had a person test positive for COVID at their facility as well. Another guy sent home. Hopefully this won't be any issues. So now we're looking at the Chargers, the Texans, the Broncos, the New York Giants, and the Vikings are all having positive tests pop up at their facilities. This COVID-19 just doesn't seem to be stopping. Hopefully you guys all get back healthy, get back with us, get back on the field. We'll see you all soon. Moving on. Yesterday, we did have a game in the NFL. We had the Atlanta Falcons playing the Carolina Panthers. If you watched my show yesterday, you'll know that I was all in for the Carolina Panthers. That turned out to be a travesty. Carolina did, in fact, I believe, kind of get served there. They didn't look too great. Atlanta Falcons kind of stepped all over them 25-17. Carolina came out of the gates looking strong. Bridgewater had a perfect passer rating. Then he took a monster shot in the middle of the third. Went down, just didn't look the same after that. It was a very slow comeback. Overall, Matty Ice had 21 of 30 for 281 yards. 1 pick, no touchdowns. Passer rating at 85.6. Julio Jones had 7 receptions for 137. This is the greatest guy in between the 20s. Why is it that you can have a monster like that and he can't score touchdowns? Why don't you just throw the ball up? I'm pretty sure Julio Jones would just love a chance at a 50-50 ball. Megatron seemed to do it all the time. Nonetheless, Teddy Bridgewater was 15 of 23 for 176. He did have 1 touchdown, but threw a late-game interception. Dropped his passer rating down to 84.7. We did get a quick sighting of Phillip Walker's 4-year undrafted free agent, played last season in the XFL before they shut down to the COVID situation. He came in through 1 for 4 for 3 yards. Not a good outing, but, what can you expect at that moment in time? It was raining and all kind of things. So, good job, Raheem Morris. I think that's your 2nd win out of 3 tries with the Atlanta Falcons. Congratulations. I think they were on an 0-4 start before you got there, buddy. I remember when you was at Tampa, it didn't look too good. It seems like you got a little older, a little wiser. Keep up the good work, Mr. Morris. Moving on. The Ravens and Ronnie Stanley. This is their big-time left tackle. They have agreed to a 5-year extension worth almost $100 million. Congratulations to you, sir. Show me the money is what he said. They said we will do just protect Mr. Jackson's blind side. Okay? Congratulations to you on that. Cincinnati's running back Joe Mixon, he's still not practicing. He's been out with a foot injury. Looks like Giovanni is going to probably get that start again. He's not doing as good as you would like for Joe Mixon to be doing, but it is what it is. When you got a little banged up, you are a little banged up. All right? So that is that. Moving on to our picks for the day. So we have our Sunday games coming up. Morning games. We do have the Las Vegas Raiders with the Cleveland Browns. They are playing in Cleveland. I am going to take those Las Vegas Raiders. I think they will bounce back from that loss to Tampa Bay. Let's see how that plays out for them. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers heading over to Baltimore, Maryland to take on those Ravens. Now, this was a tough game for me to choose because this was a head and heart game. Usually the head and heart games are the ones that you fail on. I'm trying to go with my head here, and I'm going to say Pittsburgh pulls out the upset win in Baltimore. Next on the list, Indianapolis Colts heading up to Detroit. Let's see how the Lions and the Colts play out. I'm going to take the Colts on this one, as I am a Charger fan. I do still have some faith in Phillip Rivers to get the job done. Detroit, they're 50-50 on the run under Matt Patricia's helm. Should have never got rid of Caldwell. Nonetheless, can't look back at the past, only can keep moving forward. I'm going to take the Colts on that one. We got Minnesota heading into Green Bay. You know what this is. Aaron Rodgers is on a tear right now. I think he's very upset that they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. Kind of pissed him off. Broke up with his girlfriend. Changed up his drinking habits. This is a man on a mission. Okay? We're taking Green Bay all the way. New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Now, New England is heading to Buffalo. I believe this is the upset of the week. And I believe New England Patriots are going to come out. They're not going to stump them in any way, shape, or form. Maybe just a field goal to win it. But I do see New England coming out of this. This has always just been kind of a game that New England as a team always wins. In Buffalo, I do see them going into Buffalo. I see the big man, the quarterback, Cam, doing his thing up there, probably running for about 85 yards to get this job done. So I do expect New England to come out of that. I don't see this slump just continuing to get out of control. You can sit up here and blame whoever you want to. The fact of the matter is they had 8 guys who were potential starters or very serious role players who didn't even show up to camp due to COVID. They started off backwards. So there's no way they're going to be able to move forward. But there's some things that need to be talked about. I heard a gentleman today, shout out to Bart Scott. He says, maybe Belichick should step down as a GM. I actually agree with him. Now, moving on, Tennessee Titans are going to Cincinnati. I'm taking Tennessee in that game. You just can't stop that running game of the big man, Henry. Tannehill, you're fantastic, and I appreciate Henry saying all those sweet things for you, but that man is a monster, okay? Just give him the ball, get out of his way. New York Jets going to Kansas City. I'll take Kansas City on that. LA Rams at the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is a game I want everybody to keep an eye on. This is Tua Tagovailoa's first game with Miami. He threw a couple of passes the last game. Then all of a sudden, they just made him a starter. I feel really, really bad for Fitzmagic. I thought that he was having a really productive season. 3-3 to start. You know how Fitzmagic is. He's up, he's down, but he looks steady this time. He looks sturdy, like just a regular present quarterback. It didn't look like it was all of a sudden going to turn into mush. So very, very weird timing for them to put into. However, he is the future of that team. They want the future to be now. I feel really bad for the veterans on that team that were looking to make a move this year. Afternoon games, we have my San Diego LA Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. This is the flu bowl. Everybody's got COVID, apparently. I'm going to take the LA Chargers. Obviously, I'm a homer. This is a heart game for me, so if you're listening to me, you probably want to bet the other way. I'm a homer, and I love Justin Herbert. How can this man do anything wrong? Him and Keenan Allen have gotten some sort of connection together. This could be another dynamic duo, like an A. Gates kind of deal. Looking forward to it. New Orleans Saints with the Chicago Bears. You know what? Michael Thomas is not playing again. I'm going with the Bears. I think Foles is like Eli Manning. He is a legend killer, and I think this is just another legend that he has a chance to topple. San Francisco 49ers is heading up to Seattle. I'm going to give that to the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, he's probably going to get that MVP nod this year. He's just playing out of his mind. And the fact of the matter is that team lives or dies by him. What are you going to do? Night game for us will be the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't understand why the NFL didn't flex this game and tell them to play 2-3 years from now. Nonetheless, this game is on the schedule. They have to play now. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see it being a crazy upset victory. I do see maybe 10 points. But I do think this is that moment where we start to see Carson Wentz come back into his old form. He's taken a few licks this year. He's got to stop carrying that monkey on his back about injury and just go lead this team. And I think this is the game where they'll kind of turn it around. They'll kind of flip that light switch, take over that NFC East, and it's off to the races after that. So that is everything that we have got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, any concerns. Who do you think are going to get some of these big victories? How do you feel about the return of AJ Hinch into Major League Baseball? Low-key, I felt that he probably shouldn't even get a chance to come back. But hey, I can't be a man not to ask for another man's forgiveness. He's here. We're there. Let's see how those Detroit Tigers play itself out. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Pass it over to your friends, family, and anybody else who enjoys some sports. This has been Legends Never Die. Once again, I am your host, the Legend Crosby. We'll see you guys on Monday.